The top stories tonight in Y News. Metro Manila and 6 other areas remain under general community quarantine for the entire month. The Philippine coronavirus cases may reach to 500,000 by the end of the year based on a projection of the UP Octa Research Group. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque announces retirement in the year 2022.
Members of the Makabayan bloc denies links to the CPP-NPA after being named by President Rodrigo Duterte as legal fronts of communist groups. Full implementation of radio frequency identification or RFID causes heavy traffic in toll expressway. And pandemic named as Word of the Year.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Tuesday, December 1, 2020. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I am Harleen Delgado.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I'm Angelo Castro III.
First in the news, the National Capital Region will remain under General Community Quarantine or GCQ for the month of December, following appeals to observe health standards to curb the spread of virus this holiday season. Rosalie Cons will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte announced on Monday evening the new round of community quarantines from December 1 until December 30, 2020. Aside from Metro Manila, other areas placed under general community quarantine include Batangas, Iloilo City, Tacloban City, Lanao del Sur, Iligan City, Davao City, and Davao del Norte. Meanwhile, the rest of the country remains under Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ until the end of the year. Given the new restrictions, Health Secretary Francisco Duque III reminds all agencies and local government units to intensify information campaigns on health protocols this holiday season.
Mabuting manatili sa bahay at magkaroon lamang ng maliit na salo-salo kasama ang immediate family members upang maiwasan hindi tayo mahawa at ang ating mga kapamilya.
This was supported by Interior Secretary Eduardo Año, adding that it would be best to refrain from large gatherings like partying and caroling.
Yung pong family reunion ay isang considered na mass gathering. Katulad po ng sabi ni Secretary Duque, immediate family na lang sana ang mag-celebrate ng Christmas together. At kailangan po ang minimum health standard ay patutupad.
Duque said the Department of Health is now preparing its facilities in anticipation of the surge in COVID-19 cases after the holidays. For President Duterte, still the best preventive measures against any infectious disease is proper hand washing, wearing a face mask, and staying at home. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The government has deployed medical teams to Davao City to help address the surge of the coronavirus disease cases in the city. During a cabinet meeting with President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday, National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Implementer Carlito Galvez Jr. said 6 doctors and 13 nursing staff members were deployed to the city to assist the already overwhelmed personnel of the Southern Philippines Medical Center amid the uptick in COVID-19 infections. The teams will also help improve Davao City's COVID-19 referral and emergency operations systems. Galvez noted that Davao City has seen a 68% increase in infection rate in recent days. He said the teams sent to Davao were also the ones that assisted Cebu City in curbing the surge in coronavirus cases. As part of the government's gradual easing of quarantine protocols, minors will be allowed to go out of their homes and enter shopping malls. But local government units will still issue relevant ordinances on the age group expansion. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
The Interagency Task Force Against COVID-19 will allow minors to go to shopping malls as long as they are accompanied by their parents. Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Anyo announced the government intends to ease the age-based stay-at-home restriction during a meeting with President Duterte and other cabinet members. The concerned local government units are expected to issue the relevant ordinances on the matter. The Department of Trade and Industry has suggested to the IATF to allow minors aged 7 years old and above to enter malls, but it is only limited to dining and buying of essentials. NCRPO Director, Police Brigadier General Vicente Danao Jr. expressed doubts in allowing minors to go out of their homes.
Nakikiusap kami na hanggat kaya dahil wala pa po tayong vaccination, umiwas na lang po muna. This is to protect and prevent diseases from spreading further. Siguro kung medyo maturukan na tayo ng vaccine, just the time siguro po na lumabas na lang.
Joint Task Force Coronavirus Shield Commander, Police Lieutenant General Cesar Hotern Binag says they are now preparing for the implementation while waiting for the ordinances from the LGUs. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
COVID-19 cases in the country may hit 500,000 by the end of the year based on a projection of the UP Octa Research Group. The experts also warned that stricter quarantine restrictions may be implemented next year. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Like other countries, there is a possibility that COVID-19 cases in the country may have a surge this holiday season. According to UP Octa Research Group, there may be a possible surge in epicenter areas like in Metro Manila before the year ends. This may be due to mass gatherings, and once this happens, the government may implement stricter quarantine status in the country that will affect the economy. What is alarming, according to the experts, COVID-19 cases in the Philippines may reach a peak of 500,000 by year's end.
Kung bigla tayo magka-surge, malabo na yung magka-MGCQ tayo by January. Kung nagka-holiday surge tayo, in fact, wag naman sana mangyari, pero it's even remotely possible na mabalik tayo sa mas strict na quarantine. Kaya nga, ayaw natin mangyari.
The group advised the public to be extra careful, especially when going outdoors.
Kailangan natin i-prevent yung sinasabi lang surge, yung pagbulusok ng mga kaso na mapupuno ang ating mga hospital at maraming health workers na mahirapan at maraming mamatay. So yun po natin, yun pong panawagan natin sa ating mga kababayan, hindi talaga pwede pa magkumpiyansa at magpabaya.
On the other hand, community quarantine status is also possible to be eased to modify general community quarantine only if there will be continuous decline of COVID-19 cases in the country. But according to the team, this is not yet timely because cases may increase to 10,000 or 20,000 more when people will be complacent this holiday season.
Kung magpatuloy ang pagbaba ng bilang ng kaso, we agree with we echo yung sinabi ni Yusek Berhere na pag MGCQ na tayo by the first quarter of next year. Pero ang condition niyan, it's yung patuloy na pagbaba ng bilang ng kaso.
Experts made a plea to the public to observe minimum health standards, especially physical distancing in crowded areas, and avoid physical gathering this holiday season. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque resents the supposed unfair coverage of some media outlets after netizens criticized his attendance in an event in Cebu province, which drew in a large crowd while failing to observe physical distancing. Meanwhile, the palace official announced his plans to retire from service in the year 2022. Rosalie Cos explains why.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque complained of the double standards on the media reports when he graced the opening of the airport in Bantayan Island, Cebu last Friday. According to the official, the event was held on the beach and he did not expect that a huge crowd will show up, adding he constantly reminded the people to follow the minimum health protocols. Secretary Roque insisted he was the focus of the reports on quarantine violations, while Vice President Leni Robredo's alleged violation of health protocols are not reported. The secretary even showed pictures of the vice president visiting residents affected by the typhoon.
Kasi sasama ko ng loob, bakit ako pinupuruhan palagi ng Inquirer at ng ABS-CBN? Bakit nung nakikita nyo sa screen, si VP Leni nakipag-handshake pa? O hindi ba violation ito ng restriction on social distancing? Ang tanong ko naman sa mga media na mga kasama natin, patas sana. Pero bakit ako nga purong-puro? Pero si VP Leni, ayan. Bakit ni isang mention in any of the mainstream media, wala? So sa akin lang, let's be fair.
According to Attorney Barry Gutierrez, spokesperson of Vice President Robredo, Roque should not be blaming the VP for his alleged manyanita on the beach. He adds he looks forward to the day when the administration officials can be accountable and commit to doing better on their shortcomings instead of bashing the VP. The two media organizations mentioned by Roque have yet to issue their statements regarding the issue. Meanwhile, Secretary Roque says he will cooperate on the investigation on the event. The official said he has learned his lesson from the incident, commenting that he will refrain from attending events with a huge crowd. Meanwhile, Roque said he has no plans to run for senator on the 2022 elections. Instead, he wants to resign from the public sector.
After what I've seen with the kind of media reporting and the kind of trolls that the opposition has, I'm looking forward to retirement from government service.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The coronavirus disease 2019 caseload in the country increased to 432,925 after the Department of Health, or DOH, reported 1,298 new infections as 15 laboratories failed to submit data on time. The areas with the highest number of new infections were Ilocos Norte with 84, Manila City with 61, Quezon Province with 55, Laguna with 50, and Negros Occidental with 47. Total recoveries also rose to 398,782 after 135 more patients recovered from the respiratory disease, while the death toll climbed to 8,418 with 27 new fatalities.
And for those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on the right side of your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Toll operators have officially gone cashless. Starting today, the northern and southern expressways accept RFID-only payment transactions at the toll plazas. But motorists were met by long lines and traffic jams. Joan Lano will tell us why. Live. Joanne, go ahead.
Diego, in compliance with the Department of Transportation's Memorandum Order Number 012 Series of 2020, the tollway operators has kicked off the implementation of 100% cashless transaction in all expressways. All toll lanes were converted to RFID lanes where motorists can get their RFID stickers if they are yet to install one prior to December 1. However, this resulted to an intense heavy traffic in most of the expressways, especially during rush hours, as it takes time for installation of RFID stickers within the toll gates. In Cavite Expressway or Cavitex, cash lanes were removed and RFID lanes are also serving as RFID stickering lanes. Meanwhile, in NLEX Bocaue exit, the Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation were forced to open 7 cash lanes in order to accommodate the surge of motorists going back to Metro Manila. Most of them also have yet to install their RFID sticker, resulting to a heavy traffic buildup.
The system works. all the toll plazas that are RFID ready performed in accordance with the plan and in terms of the standard, but it's also the customer service that suffered a little bit. That because of the surge and the congestion, we have to adjust our operations. I'd say it's a temporary measure just to basically give relief to the trips of our customers today.
On the other hand, Jago, the Toll Regulatory Board admitted that there are several problems encountered on the first day of implementing the cashless transaction. TRB spokesperson Julius Corpus says that they will meet again with the tollway operators in order to discuss their initial assessment to come up with certain adjustments to improve the contactless service. Among these is the opening of more lanes and additional manpower that will accommodate the surge of motorists who will avail the RFID sticker installation.
Birth pains, as you know, you always come with it for new procedures and systems that you implement. And we will look into solutions and try to make the necessary adjustments itong mga panahong ito, especially so that we all look forward to na soon ang mga ganyang mga pangyayari maibsan naman po. Nang sa ganon, ma-implement po natin ng mas maayos, mas efficient itong ating tinatawag na cashless and contactless.
Jago, the Toll Regulatory Board reiterates that as of now, there is no reason to defer or to make another extension on the imposition of the new policy, as this is just the first day and that they will have to observe the development in the coming days. Jago.
Thank you, Joe Annano, reporting live. Motorists are advised to look for alternative routes as another U-turn slot along EDSA would be closed to vehicular traffic starting next week. Asher Cadapan Jr. will tell us why.
Motorists will expect heavier traffic as another U-turn slot in EDSA in the area of Bagong Barrio, Caloocan City closes on Monday, December 7, while the other U-turn sections between Balintawak, Cloverleaf, and Monumento will soon be closed as well. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority recommends using the Monumento Circle as an alternative route. The closure is part of the MMDA's aim to prioritize the EDSA busway where the public utility buses ply. In the last couple of months, the MMDA has already closed the U-turn slots between EDSA Quezon Avenue and Balintawak, but netizens complain of the heavier traffic they experience in getting to other side of EDSA in the particular area. Even the MMDA explains that it is essential to have a U-turn section between them.
Reasonable na po yung layo ng mga U-turn slot doon sa ibang area sa kabaan ng EDSA. But from Quezon Avenue to Balintawak, sa sobrang layo po yan, kailangan po may in-between. Kaya yun po yung area na nakikitaan na magkakaroon ng U-turn slot through an elevated busway.
The MMDA further explains that infrastructure is needed to put up the elevated busway, which will give way to a U-turn slot in the area. But reopening one is still being studied in the agency.
Yung pagbubukas po ay nakadepende po sir doon sa pagkakaroon natin ng elevated busway. Pero kung bubuksan ulit siya as is, no, yun naman po ay pinag-aaralan pa.
Asher Cadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacan admits that the country's telecommunication services have not significantly improved yet, despite President Duterte's move to hasten the processing of permits for the establishment of cell towers. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque, companies should make a public commitment on how soon their services would improve. In his recent State of the Nation address or SONA, the President warned Globe Telecom and Smart Communications to improve services by December or else face expropriation. Roque also urged the telco firms to present their plans on upgrading their service, especially after getting some help from the President. He also asked the National Telecommunications Commission to give the palace an update on the telco service.
If despite yung assistance ng Presidente at sinunod na pinagbigyan na ni Presidente at sinabi ng telecoms ng problema, mga lokal na pamahalaan, hindi nag-i-issue ng mga permits, kaya kunan sila ng towers, ginawa na po ni Presidente. Binalaan na niya mga lokal na pamahalaan, huwag kayong maging balakid, no? At ang tingin ko naman, lahat naman po ay sumunod, nabigyan na lahat ng permits na kinakailangan nila, pero sa ngayon po, ang personal experience ko, wala pa rin pong pagbabago.
Members of the Makabayan bloc vehemently denied their involvement in communist groups, insisting they are legitimate party list organizations. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque asked why the leftist groups were reluctant to renounce the NPA's use of violence, even as they already won in the party list elections. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
House Deputy Minority Leader and Bayan Muna Party List Representative Carlos Zarate challenged anyone to prove their links to the CPP National Democratic Front's New People's Army. Zarate made the statement after President Rodrigo Duterte straightforwardly called the Makabayan bloc a legal front of the communist group. However, Zarate admits he is an activist.
Hindi ako miyembro ng Communist Party of the Philippines, maging ng NPA or ng NDF.
The lawmaker further accused the administration of diverting the issues that the country is facing, such as the pandemic and the calamities.
Patuloy na nililink ang mga organisasyon, progresibong organisasyon na talagang nagbubunyag, naglalantad ng kainutilan nitong Duterte administration na ito.
The group sees that this is a move to disqualify them for the 2022 elections. They said they are being silenced since that they are the #1 critics of the administration.
With the statement of the president, they will be further emboldened, to intensify their attacks against us, including even yung kanilang objective to remove us from Congress, ipa-disqualify kami.
Lawmakers fears that they may suffer the same fate with other activists that was slain after being tagged as communist. Meanwhile, the Malacan said leftist groups should stop lying about their membership in the local Communist Party and renounce the use of violence by the armed rebels. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, mere membership to the Communist Party is not a crime, but the front groups must still denounce the atrocities committed by the NPA fighters.
Kung ikaw ay member ng CPP, pwede ka maging legal but you have to renounce the use of arms. Magagaling naman sila sa parliamentary politics, na-elect naman sila, pinakamarami sila sa party list groups. Bakit hindi pa nila i-renounce yung use of arms? Yun lang pong hinihingi. Pero habang hindi nila ni-renounce at habang sila po ay nakikibahagi pa dito sa paggamit ng dahas at sandata laban sa Republika, kriminal po yan.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A legal counsel of Wilma Tiamzon, wife of Benito Tiamzon, who were both convicted of kidnapping, admitted that several National Democratic Front peace consultants worry that they will experience the same fate as the couple. Dante Amento tells us why.
Lawyers of Benito and Wilma Tiamzon will look into possible legal remedies after being convicted in 1988 kidnapping and serious illegal detention of 4 Army lieutenants. The couple were both members of the panel as National Democratic Front peace consultants in the 2016 peace negotiations. Attorney Efraim Cortez, member of Wilma Tiamzon's legal team, believes that Tiamzon's conviction may also be the beginning of political persecution of other peace consultants, particularly those who participated in the 2016 peace talks at Oslo, Norway. Cortez adds this will close the doors to peaceful settlement due to lack of confidence in the government sincerity.
Andun yung fear, mawawala yung confidence ng one side kung ipapadala nila kanilang mga consultants.
Several peace consultants had been killed, such as Randal Randy Echanis and couple Agaton Topacio and Eugenia Magpantay, after they allegedly resisted arrest from police officers serving warrant of arrest.
Dahil nandun yung pangamba, siyempre sa parte ng mga negotiators, kung ano yung magiging sasakitin nila after what happened dito sa several mga peace consultants after nang tapusin yung peace negotiations noong 2017.
PNP Chief General Dibold Sina said they are ready for possible probe on the police operation that killed NDF consultants Agaton Topacio and Eugenia Magpantay.
Pag sinabi ng mga terorista na hindi manlaban, sa kanila yun. We are open for any investigations naman. And these two, accordingly, ay napag-alaman namin are not just ordinary couples. They are hardened terrorists. No? So based on the findings.
Meanwhile, Attorney Cortez said they don't know the whereabouts of Tiamson couple, but the lawyer believes that the Tiamsons are still in the country after they were freed in 2016 after posting bail. Thus, DILG Secretary Anyo appeals for them to surrender to the government. Dan Tiamento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
For those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on the right side of your screen and ring the bell for notifications. You may also follow us on Facebook.
Supreme Court Chief Justice Diosdado Peralta will retire a year earlier than his compulsory retirement. Supreme Court spokesperson Attorney Keith Hosaka said Peralta confirmed to him his intention to avail of early retirement but did not elaborate further on the reason. Peralta will step down from office in March 2021 when he reaches the age of 69. The mandatory retirement age for justices and judges is 70. Peralta was appointed by President Rodrigo Duterte in October 2019. When he retires, the Supreme Court's most senior justices will be automatically nominated for the position subject to their confirmation. The Senate Committee on National Defense conducted its third and final hearing on the issue of alleged red tagging of some members of the military. At the start of the hearing, Senate President Vicente Soto III extended the Senate's deepest condolences to Bayan Muna Party List Representative Eufemia Culiamat following the death of her 22-year-old daughter in an encounter between the military and members of the New People's Army in Surigao del Sur this weekend. The party list's former representative, Attorney Nery Colmenares, once again slammed the supposed red tagging of the defense sector. Colmenares maintains that failure to condemn the armed struggle does not mean connections with the armed communist group. However, according to him, their group supports and advocates reforms in the government system but not through armed revolution.
Hindi ko narinig yung grupo nyo sumasang-ayon. Marami na nag-oppose ng charter change.
Tama po, Senator ST. Tama po. Kasi ang lahat ng charter nila, kinakargahan nila ng self-serving provisions.
Colmenares further urged the officials of the defense sector to present strong evidence and file their cases in court. Meanwhile, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino, who also attended the hearing, denied the allegations that the group has ties with the communist groups. Former Bayan Muna Party List Representative Teddy Casino also challenged the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC, to name those whom the Solons allegedly recruited to CPP-NPA. Casino claims that the officials are using the Senate as a platform to red tag them further.
Mas maraming membro namin ang hindi namumundo. Marami ho membro ng gobyerno eh. Marami hong League of Filipino Students, police ngayon. Bakit ho yung mga organisasyon namin ang inyong pinag-iinitan? Namamatay po yung mga miyembro namin dahil dito. Show us. Sino bang NPA na-recruit ko? Sino bang NPA na-recruit ni Nery? Doon tayo mag-usap, hindi yung magbabato kayo ng kung ano-ano.
But according to National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon, their witnesses back up claims that members of their organization recruit people to the communist group.
It may not be personally Mr. Casino or Mr. Colmenares, but it is their organization.
NTF-LCAC spokesperson AFP Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade Jr. insists that the documents they have and the testimonies of the alleged former rebels already confirm the involvement of progressive groups in the Makabayan bloc and the CPP-NPA recruitment.
Kaya ang hindi ko po maintindihan, Mr. Chair, bakit pabalik-balik doon sa desisyon ng DOJ, samantalang statement ito ng mga former rebels na nandito ngayon, naririnig nila, and yet bingi sila. Ayaw nilang tanggapin na ito ay mga ebidensya.
Meanwhile, Casino and alleged former rebel Jeffrey K. Eric Celis exchanged tirades during the hearing.
Ang recruitment namin ay organizational process. It's not an individual responsibility alone. But did I meet also Teddy Casino? Aside from the meeting in Naribalo, Iloilo City in 2001, meeting ng Communist Party ng mga kabataan pa kami. Yes, in Boracay. Nandun siya.
That was a CGP convention. Ano ba yun?
Can I be allowed my time, Mr. Chair? Kanina, hataw siya ng hataw, pinabayaan siya ng chairman.
Sinungaling ka eh.
Kita mo.
Kindly. How can you allow this, Mr. Chair?
Different groups have also protested outside the Senate compound. Senator Panfilo Lacson, who chairs the Senate Committee on National Defense, said they will come up with a committee report soon.
And for the news abroad, here's Stephanie C. reporting live from Hong Kong.
Good evening, Diego. A top Iranian security official devises to remotely kill a scientist who founded the Islamic Republic's military nuclear program in the 2000s. Marvi Delphine will give us the details live. Marvi?
Steph, the father of Iran's nuclear arms program, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, was assassinated on Friday on a major road on the capital, using remote-controlled automatic weapons fitted to a Nissan Ute. The Ute was then destroyed in an explosion triggered by a self-destruct mechanism, and Fakhrizadeh was rushed to a near hospital where he died, according to reports from Tehran. The Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, Ali Shamkhani, has put the blame on Israel, but Israel has declined to comment on the attack. During the past decade, Iran has accused Israel of killing at least 5 of its nuclear scientists. An Iranian opposition group in exile called Mujahideen-e-Khalq is believed to have also played a role. In a statement to the media, Shamkhani said new and complex methods were used to kill its leading nuclear scientist, as Fakhrizadeh was buried yesterday in a funeral befitting a top martyr. Shamkhani's comments on Friday's attack differ significantly from initial accounts by Iran's authorities that Fakhrizadeh died in an assault carried out by gunmen using machine guns and explosives. Iran's Defense Minister General Amir Hatami separately vowed to continue Fakhrizadeh's work with more speed and more power, while the country's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei called for the definitive punishment of those responsible. The timing of the targeted killing could complicate any efforts by U.S. President-elect Joe Biden to revive a détente with Tehran that was forged when he was in Barack Obama's administration. The assassination comes less than 2 months before Biden is due to take office, after 4 years of hawkish foreign policy in the Middle East under the administration of Donald Trump. Trump pulled Washington out of the 2015 International Nuclear Pact agreed between Tehran and major powers. A group of protesters have burnt pictures of Trump and Biden in a gathering in front of the Iranian Foreign Ministry a day after the killing of the high-profile scientist. Former CIA Director John Brennan warned the assassination risked sparking further tensions in the Middle East, and so the United Nations has called for restraint, and alert levels had been raised at Iranian and Israeli embassies worldwide. Steph?
Thank you, Marvi, for that report live from Australia. Australia has demanded China to apologize for posting a fake picture on a government Twitter account that depicted an Australian soldier murdering an Afghan child. However, the Chinese government refuses to do so. Earl Briones will tell us why live. Earl?
Stephanie, on Monday, Chinese government spokesperson Li Jianjiao posted an image on Twitter depicting an Australian soldier holding a knife against the neck of an Afghan child to serve as a retaliation against the Australian Defence Forces allegedly responsible for the deaths of a number of innocent Afghan civilians. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has since responded towards the offensive tweet, labeling it as repugnant, outrageous, and deeply offensive to all Australians, all of which call for a deserved apology. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has also highlighted the growing trade tension between Australia and China over the course of this year and states that this is not how you deal with them, as a reference to the recent image.
Seeking an apology from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the Chinese government for this outrageous post. We are also seeking its removal immediately and have also contacted Twitter to take it down immediately. It is a false image and a terrible slur on our great defence forces and the men and women who've served in that uniform for over 100 years.
China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Chunyi Hua released a statement refusing to apologize to Australia, claiming that the Australian side is reacting so strongly to her colleague's Twitter. Hua insists that the current issue is not related to the growing dispute between the two countries, rather emphasizing the wrongdoings of Australia directly concerning human rights abuses. The post followed the Brereton War Crimes Report and investigations released in November of this year, indicating that at least 39 Afghan civilians were unlawfully killed by Australian Special Forces on 23 incidents over the course of 11 years. On account of Ms. Hua's statement, she did not even mention the Australian Defence Force General Angus Campbell has already issued an apology to the Afghan citizens on behalf of his soldiers' conduct upon the release of the reports. Since then, the military has acted upon this report and has referred 19 soldiers for further criminal investigations as a duty to set things right. Stephanie?
Thank you for that live report, Earl Briones. Malaysia warns of closure against companies flouting COVID-19 standard operating procedures. Meanwhile, all foreign workers in the country are required to undergo mandatory COVID-19 screening.
Malaysia's Minister of International Trade and Industry, Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali, said that companies who will fail to comply with stipulated standard operating procedures throughout the Conditional Movement Control Order CMCO will face immediate revocation of their operating permits as well as legal actions. The SOP compliance order was issued to 171 associations and Chamber of Business to prove that the ministry takes a serious view of SOP compliance following the recent increase in new COVID-19 cases in the country. He added companies that are found to have flouted the SOP and do not cooperate with the Ministry of Health will be shut down immediately under Section 18-1-D of the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act of 1998. Meanwhile, beginning today, December 1, a targeted screening program for foreign workers based on red zones area will be conducted in stages according to Human Resources Minister M. Saravanan. Tests will be conducted at private clinics and hospitals using the rapid test kit antigen approved by the Health Ministry. The screening cost will include the test kit and service charges imposed by the clinics and hospitals. For foreign workers who are SOSCO, Social Security and Organization contributors, SOSCO will pay for the test kit and employers will shoulder the service charges. For those who are not SOSCO contributors, the full cost must be fully paid by their employers, Saravanan said. Priority will be given to high-risk areas starting with foreign workers in Klang and Sarangani. While on December 9, screening will begin in other red zones area in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, and Penang. The test for Sabah, Labuan, and other districts in Selangor, Penang, and Negeri Sembilan will begin on December 16. According to Saravanan, the screening program was a collaboration between government agencies and private sector, comprising screening, and after the test includes monitoring and case management. Maya Berkes, UNTV News and Rescue, Malaysia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam on Tuesday again urged residents of the densely populated city to stay at home and avoid unnecessary family gatherings as the global financial hub scrambles to contain a rise in coronavirus cases. Lam announced tighter measures to curb the spread of the disease that will see group gatherings restricted to 2 people and most civil servants working from home. Schools across the territory will close for the rest of the year from Wednesday. Hong Kong has seen a rise in COVID-19 cases after weeks of reporting single-digit or low double-digit numbers, but it has so far avoided a complete lockdown implemented in other cities across the world. And those are the reasons behind the news here in Hong Kong and in other parts of the globe. For those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on the right side of your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Stephanie C, reporting live from Hong Kong. The 2020 prize for Merriam-Webster's Word of the Year went to an obvious choice: pandemic. The term had the most online dictionary lookups of any word, Merriam-Webster said on its website, after a year in which at least 1.4 million people globally have died from the COVID-19 pandemic. Pandemic is defined as an outbreak of a disease that occurs over a wide geographic area and typically affects a significant proportion of the population, according to Merriam-Webster.com. Last year's winner was they, as used to describe someone who does not identify as male nor female. That follows winners justice in 2018, feminism in 2017, and surreal in 2016.
And those are the reasons behind the news December 1, 2020. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harleen Delgado.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Among Castro III, we serve the people, we give glory to God.